Good evening, everybody. So, andaru ella unnaru? Actually, good afternoon, everybody. So, last year we had Vidya Shakti classes at 4 p.m. So, I'm used to telling it as wishing everybody as good evening. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Vidya Shakti session. So, today we are all meeting in our 9th grade English class. So, andaru ella unnaru? So, you might have been very busy throughout the week, and this should be the last class of this week, kada? Okay, so let's see what we are going to learn today. So the topic is something that you already know. So Dantlone, we are going to learn few important points with the continuation of our previous week. Along with that, we will solve few interesting quiz and you will join Kahoot to solve a quiz also. Okay, as you all are 9th grade students pre-board class, I'm expecting a very good participation because I'm sure most of you are comfortable in answering the quiz either in chat box or you can also note the answers in your books, which will help you revise the topics that we have learned today. Okay, so without any further delay, let's begin our today's session. Once again, I welcome you all for today's 9th grade English class. Let me share the screen. As I always tell you, we always begin our class with a short quiz, or we usually learn about an eminent personality, an inspiring person. So, in today's class, we are going to solve a small quiz. Our quiz law, you will have some English related questions and some logical thinking questions. So, these questions are going to be very interesting and let's see how we all can solve them. Okay, so as you guess the answers or solve these questions, kindly enter the answers in the chat box. మీరు మీ chat box లో A, B, C, D and రాయొచ్చు. We will review after the quiz is done. And also, if the chat box or the system is not very accessible for you, మీరు మీ books లో note చేసుకొని మీకు ఎన్ని correct answers వచ్చాయి అనే దాన్ని మీరు check చేసుకోవచ్చు. So at the end, if you are learning something out of this quiz, that's very great. Kada? So let me start the quiz for you. Okay. Chudandi, Dintlo, what is the first question? Which word is a noun? Apple, quickly, blue, run. A, B, C, D. In all options low, which is the noun? Choose the word and enter in the chat box. So I'm guessing the answer as apple. Apple is the name of a fruit. Kada? So anything that refers to a name of animal, person, thing, fruits, vegetables, months, dates, avanni kuda noun. Okay na? Next question. Which is the opposite of hot? ఈ hot అనే పదానికి opposite ఏది? Dry, bright, warm, cold. Very simple, kada? So, and I'm guessing the answer as option D, cold. Let's move on to our next question. Which sentence is correct? She am happy, she is happy, she are happy, she be happy. And I'm guessing the answer as she is happy because am always comes with I. Plural aitene R ravali, A-R-E-R. So she is happy is the right answer. Third person. Okay, one day we will see what first, second and third person are. Okay. How many vowels are there in this word? How many words are in plain? Plain ane word lo enni vowels unnai? And I'm guessing the answer as 2. What are vowels? A, E, I, O, U. E word plain lo manaki A and E rendu vowels unnai. So the answer is 2. Let's move on to our next question now. Which word rhymes with cat? Rhyming words. Cat to rhyme aye word enti? This you will read and answer, because if I read it becomes very easy. The answer is bat. Cat, bat, mat, rat, ivanni rhyming words anamata. If a book is on the table and the table is in the room, where is the book? And the answer is in room. Okay. Next question. Which word is spelled correctly? ఇక్కడ ఏ వర్డ్ యొక్క స్పెల్లింగ్ కరెక్ట్ గా మెన్షన్ చేశారు. And it is beautiful. B-E-A-U-T-I, beautiful. F-U-L, beautiful. This is the correct answer. So I'm sure most of you might have answered the questions right. Ippudu manamu will see what we are going to learn in our today's session. Okay, if anybody of you have joined a little late, once again I welcome you all for today's English class. Chudandi, manamu last class lo this we will run through really quick. Last class lo we started learning about some basic smallest units of language, which are letters. Kada letters A, B, C, D, Z daaka, A to Z daaka unna vatilni manamu letters antam. We will use these letters to form words when you arrange them in the right order. When you arrange them in the right order, they form meaningful words. Right order ante enti? Letters yokka sounds ni batti manamu arrange cheyali. So if you write something like this, you are here also you are arranging letters, but this does not have any meaning. So you don't call it a word. You don't call it a word. You call this as a word when the letters are arranged in a right order, and that can make some meaningful words. For example, dog makes the word dog. App makes the word map. And then here BIRD makes the word bird. Okay, so some words are formed. Koni words lo some letters are silent, some are pronounced in a different way. Usually the order of the letters make meaningful words, but at times when we derive the words from different languages, you will see a slight change in the spelling. Spelling okalaga untundi, we pronounce it in a different way. That rules we will learn in our further classes. Okay na? And now you have also seen that when you arrange the words in the right order, they make meaningful sentences. For example, here you have, we went to the park. We went to the park. These are words and this is a sentence. Okay, so you cannot arrange like this, right? So if you arrange this like this, does it form a meaningful sentence? No. You have to arrange them in a proper order to make a complete sentence. One more example, she drinks milk every day. Daniki, she drinks milk every day is the sentence form. You are using words, 4 to 5 words in this sentence and making it a meaningful one. And also, one important point is you will always end the sentence with a full stop. This is a punctuation, full stop. The sentence should end with a full stop. It should start with the uppercase letter and it should end with the full stop. Idi manam last class lo chusam. And one more thing, what did we learn? We learned about paragraph. Now, what is a paragraph? Like words form sentences. Sentences, when arranged in a proper order, they form a paragraph. Let's take an example. See, here is a simple example. We went to the park. We played on the swings. We had a picnic. We returned home happy. All these are different sentences, but these sentences are related to one another. Ante here one person is describing about the time they went to the park, from the time they went to the park to the time they returned home, what all did they do? That is a sequence of events. So it has some logical order. In a paragraph, the sentences have to be arranged in a proper order. Then only it becomes a meaningful paragraph. Last class, we saw an example of a paragraph in which sentences are arranged in random order. Then that doesn't make a paragraph very meaningful. So in order to write a paragraph, you need to have a sequence of sentences. See, this paragraph, these sentences are used to make a meaningful paragraph here. We went to the park. We played on the swings. We had a picnic. We returned home happily. Ila, one child or a student is explaining about what they have done, what they did when they went to the park. Okay? Chinna example, right? This is a routine of a person. So here they have arranged the sentences in a logical order to make a meaningful sentence. See, I get up early in the morning. I brush my teeth and take a bath. I have my breakfast. Then I go to school. I come back home in the evening and play with my friends. What will happen if you are not writing the paragraph in an order? If you are not aligning these sentences in a logical order, the reader might not be able to understand. For example, you are asked to write a paragraph in your exam. So you will write the answer in logical order of sentences. Let's say, for example, if you are asked to write your daily routine, will you start with first, then I go to school, I brush my teeth and take a bath sentence next, and then I have breakfast, I get up early in the morning, I come back home in the evening and play with my friends and iraste. It is very confusing. Okay, it is not a well-aligned paragraph. So paragraph should have some logical order in which sentences have to be arranged in a sequence so that the reader understands and also it creates a clear idea. Okay, na? Right? So this all I'm pretty sure you all know. It's a quick recap and then we will do a quiz. Student. So first, ఎవరైనా మనకు ఒక టాపిక్ ఇవ్వగానే write a paragraph on my hobby అని మీ హాబీ గురించి రాయమన్నారు అనుకోండి. Then you will understand what the topic is. Read the question carefully. Reading the question is important because sometimes they will mention how many words you should write, 50 to 80 or 100 to 150, or they might mention marks, 10 marks. So your paragraph should justify the marks that are allocated, right? 5 marks. 5 marks అని ఇచ్చినప్పుడు మీరు చాలా పెద్దగా 2 pages రాస్తే then you are wasting a lot of time. So I'll share
Recording
this.
has been resumed.
So, very sorry for the audio and video issue. Let me share the screen with you now and we will discuss about the paragraph of the story that we have in our textbook. So andarki screen share chestanu nenu ippudu. Okay. So now you all know how to write the basic rules of a paragraph. Let me show you a very big paragraph that is given in our textbook. Exercise undi mana book lo, and that story, a story is about the Shehnai player Bismillah Khan. Okay, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan anedi oka story laga mana textbook lo undi. So dantlo they have given number of paragraphs. Okay? So let's see. See, this is how the story starts, and then they have given at least 10 to 12 paragraphs. Slogan in chadutanu. You all understand what is given in the paragraph and how we can summarize this very big paragraph into one or two small paragraphs. Because in exam, you can't write the whole story. So they might ask you, write a paragraph on the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Appudu, you have to understand how to summarize and write the story. Kada? Chudama ippudu chudandi. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi. Punji antaru, pungi ani anavachu. In the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. So there was a musical instrument in Emperor Aurangzeb's court which was making a very unpleasant sound. Okay, so pungi became the generic name for reader noisemakers. For example, ఎవరైనా ఎక్కువ నాయిస్ చేసే వాళ్ళని pungi అనే పేరుతో పిలిచేవారంట, because it made it a very unpleasant sound. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. ఒక రోజు మళ్ళీ అది it will have its form. Mali, it will be used again, is what people thought. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he closed and opened it, it used to make some pleasant, very melodious sound and matter. Okay, when he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. Okay, the instrument so different from pungi had to be given a new name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chamber, Shah ante king, because it was played in the king's chamber, and it was played by Nai. So barber ki inkoka name is Nai. So it got the name. The instrument was named as Shehnai. So this is the origin of the musical instrument. Now we will see how this instrument became very, very significant. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious ante enti? Auspicious day antam kada. Very precious, blessed day alantidi. So you feel good about it. Okay, they used to play the Shehnai in weddings, temples, etc. So the sound of Shehnai became to be considered auspicious. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and an indispensable component of North Indian wedding. Indispensable ante idi Shehnai lekunda there is no wedding anamata. They cannot separate it ani artham. In the past, the Shehnai was the part of Naubat, or traditional assemble of 9 instruments found in royal courts. So this Shehnai was a part of Naubat. Naubat ante there was a set of 9 instruments in royal court that were used in any royal events, temples and weddings. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit of bringing this instrument into the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So Ustad Bismillah Khan had brought this instrument to the classical stage. Okay, so in this paragraph, they are going to describe about how Bismillah Khan he developed interest towards this instrument and learned it from his masters. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near the pond. Okay, so where was this place located? Children. So it was located near the ancient estate of Dumraon in Bihar. He would regularly go to the temple. So that temple had its name, Biharji temple. Okay, to sing Bhojpuri Chaita. Why he used to sing? Because at the end of his singing, he used to receive a big laddu, 1.5 kg laddu from the local Maharaja. And this happened 80 years ago. So this little boy had traveled far from just singing or learning music for this laddu to earning Bharat Ratna. You know Bharat Ratna ante the India's highest civilian award. So his contribution to music was so high that he received various awards. This was the beginning of his musical journey. So ఇక్కడ ఏం చెప్తున్నారు ఫస్ట్ ఈ షెహనాయి, how this షెహనాయి came into existence. Then what is the significance, where this షెహనాయి was played. Tarvata, how Bismillah Khan developed interest on షెహనాయి. How did he started learning? Here comes his journey. Okay, so he learned from his uncle, because his family belongs to well-known musicians from Bihar. His grandfather and then his uncle were all Shehnai players. So from them, our Ustad Bismillah Khan started learning. Where do you think he learned? Chudandi. Ila, he was fascinated by watching his uncles practice Shehnai. So soon from his uncle, he started learning. And where do you think was the place? His favorite place to learn was Vishnu's temple at Banaras. And on the banks of river Ganga, Bismillah Khan practiced for hours together to master this musical instrument. His love for Shehnai and the city of Banaras and for Ganga river was so great that he was always grateful for them. Okay, na? So soon became this often played Shehnai player. What did he do? He started playing in All India Radio. When India gained independence on 15th of August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. How wonderful that is. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Trust with Dynasty speech. Okay, now, so here what they are telling is how his contribution to music helped him achieve great heights. So he started playing. He was one among the few participants on Independence Day when India received its independence in 15th of August 1947. He was given a chance to play the musical instrument. Ikkada they are describing how he had been to other countries like Afghanistan, where he was honored by King Zahir Shah. And also he was given to play music in movies. Avanni kuda ee paragraph lo manaki describe chesaru. And here comes the description about how his hard work was rewarded. Chudandi, national awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Padma Bhushan were conferred on him. And then in 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. Okay, so he always encouraged young children to learn music. Okay, so even though he traveled around the world, even though he had students in various countries and cities, he always wanted to be in Banaras and by the banks of river Ganga. See, do you see here? His students had once invited him to other country. They said, we can arrange a place like Banaras for you to set a musical institute. But however, Ustad Bismillah Khan always wanted to be in our country. He always said you can make something like Banaras, but you can never bring Ganga elsewhere. It is only found in our country. Okay, so what do we learn from his life? So Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage. Okay, and then he was very, very devoted to the city of Varanasi, Ganga, and to the temples in India. So in the Pedda paragraph ni, if they ask us to summarize, we summarize in a very brief form using the most important and significant points. Let's see. Aim Rastunam first, we are writing a heading. Ustad Bismillah Khan, the great Shehnai maestro. Then here we are telling the pungi was a musical instrument played in the court of Emperor Aurangzeb, but he banned it because it made a shrill sound. A Baba from a family of musicians improved pungi by making it longer with 7 holes. Now, how it was improved anedi rastunam. Then we are talking about how Ustad Bismillah Khan brought it to the world stage. We are also describing from where and from whom he started learning music. From his uncle Ali Baks, when he was at the age of 3, he started learning music. Okay, you are also describing that he was chosen to perform at the Red Fort on Independence Day in 1947. He received many awards, including Bharat Ratna. Okay, na? And you will describe about his love for Varanasi, Dhumra, and River Ganga. And what does his life teach us? His life teaches us that hard work, dedication, and love for our culture leads to success. So your paragraph should have a statement, right? This is the topic statement and supporting statements, okay, and a conclusion. All your paragraphs should have a very good start, supporting lines, and a conclusion. Okay, now, so I think we just have to refer to one thing. So at the age of 14, remember, at the age of 14, he performed at Allahabad, a musical concert lo, where he was appreciated. So this is one important point. So now you will join the Kahoot quiz to solve few points on the lesson that you have learned and also about the paragraph writing concepts. So once again, your paragraph should have a very good start, topic statement, and then it should have a supporting statements that will support the topic that you have chosen. Additionally, a wonderful conclusion for you to close the paragraph with. Okay, now let's join the quiz. Andaru kahoot.it lo join avandi and then try to answer the questions. If we had missed anything, ikkada point because of that audio video issue, if we had missed any point, that will be the part of the quiz. While you solve the quiz, we can learn it. Andaru kahoot.it. Ila. మీ బ్రౌజర్లో ఇలా టైప్ చేయాలి kahoot kahoot.it. This is the pin that you have to enter. Okay. So let's start. Before we start, once again, I remind, ఏదైనా points miss ఉంటే, let's cover them here. Tryst in Destiny is the speech that Jawaharlal Nehru garu gave. And then you will also remember the age of Bismillah Khan, which is 14 years, while he was appreciated. Very good. Good job. Good. So some of you have remembered what we have mentioned, kada? Nice. 14 years. Very good. Good job. Last question. Very good. Wonderful. So topic sentence ante the first sentence with which you start the paragraph has to be very, very relevant. So it should indicate about whom you are speaking, about whom you are describing. So Ustad Bismillah Khan was one of the greatest Shahnai players of our country. Choose cheskunnadi is the right option. Let's see who the winners are. Third place lo ZPHS. Second place lo Janu. And first place lo, yes, GHS Sumpeta. Wonderful. And many participants have answered most of the questions right. So this was a wonderful participation. Thank you for active participation. So you have a homework of paragraph writing. Let me share that with you. Shouldn't. This will be your homework. Yeah. So a visit to the zoo is your homework topic. So your paragraph should include a good start, supporting statements, and a conclusion. And always follow the correct grammar, punctuation, and some paragraph writing rules that we have already discussed in our previous session. Okay, na? So that was our session for today. And see you all in our next session with a new topic.